Gotta love the holidays, right? It's a time when we feel obligated to hang out with family members who may or may not have the toxicity equivalent to a poisoned dart frog. Most of us have that one bitch. You know, that one Chad or Karen that every year has some snot ass remark to say that just makes you go, "Oh, you make me use so much self-control right now." I swear to God, those turd muffins seem to meditate on whatever insult they're about to do just to make sure that it is the most epic thing that they can tell you that'll just cling on to you for weeks. And then the problem is, after they insult you or end up being rude to you, if you don't suck it up and just deal with it, they end up making you feel like you're the villain. Even though things are extremely complicated between your family, that doesn't take away from how much you love them. But the problem is they're wearing you down, and you take whatever they say and carry that with you for weeks or months or even years. So how do you deal with toxic family members in the holidays? Well, I'm going to give you a few steps that if you take can end up being very beneficial to your life and your relationships. Step 1, you need to confront them in a respectful manner and explain to them how their actions are affecting you. But Angelica, they don't deserve my respect. No. Some might even say they deserve a shoe up their ass, but that's not going to go anywhere, and we're trying to make some healthy progression here. By remaining respectful, you are preventing them from becoming defensive. The thing is, if they become defensive, that means they've shut down. And someone who's defensive, you're not going to get very far with. If they react well to step 1, then what they really needed was just some healthy communication. The outcome of step 1 is going to determine what steps you need to take after that. And they weren't actually realizing how their actions were affecting you. That can happen. We're all flawed humans. We sometimes say or do stupid things that end up harming others without realizing that it's causing harm. Sometimes it takes someone that we love coming up to us and saying, "Hey, you know, this really hurts me when you do this. It's bothering me and it's starting to take a toll on my mental health. Can we stop doing that? Because it really does hurt me when that happens." Then the question is, how the freaking hell do you confront someone? Honestly, I would do it over a phone call. Because if you do it over a text, that's going to give them the opportunity not to respond to you. And you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to get a response so you know how to proceed forward. It also ensures less of a chance of miscommunication, because a text message, you don't know what the person's tone is, you don't know how they're saying things, and you can end up really misconstruing the message and thinking that it's more of an attack than, opening up to them. So the first thing that I want you to do whenever you first approach your family member through a phone call is ask them if they're in a good place to be able to listen to you. Tell them that there's something on your mind, there's something that's bothering you that you just would like to open up to them about. Now, if they had a shit ass day, that's not a good time to bring something like this up. That means they're not going to be able to hear you. They're not going to be able to understand you. They're already feeling down. They're exhausted emotionally, and they just are not going to be able to take anything more. So ask them to please let you know when they are in a good place. If they don't reach out to you in a few days, reach out to them. Again, repeat the same thing. Are you in a place for us to be able to talk? This is something that's really bothering me. If they say yes, I'm good, I'm feeling better, that is your open door to be able to talk to them. Now, a lot of my clients that come to me end up feeling guilty for opening up. They feel like they're being a burden by telling their loved one that there's something on their mind, there's something that bothers them. But the reality is, you're not being a burden to someone that truly loves you. And someone that is open and wanting to make sure that they have a healthy and good relationship with you is going to take the steps that is needed to be able to improve that relationship. Now, one thing that is so absolutely important for you to do is do not point your fingers. I'm not saying literally, I'm saying figuratively. Don't say, "When you do this, you make me feel this way." That's going to make them shut down. I also want you to make sure you're using I statements. Now, in a healthy situation, your parent, whoever this is, would be understanding. They would say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that I was coming across that way." But then in another situation, in a toxic situation, that person is going to end up just twisting that around and jabbing you with it. If your loved one responds in any way that is diminishing what you just said, it is time to put on your badass panties and set some boundaries. See, some people need a verbal bitch slap in the form of boundaries because their ass has gotten away with way too much for far too long. That leads me to step 2, the boundary bitch slap. If this family member has a toxic response to whatever you said and tries to place the blame on you, then you need to be firm. Now, you don't need to respond exactly like this, but let me give you a little bit of inspiration to pull from. If you feel as though you are unable to avoid doing something that I have openly expressed is hurting me, then I'm not going to be around you this holiday season. Let me know if you change your mind and decide that you want to respect my mental health enough not to put me down. Sometimes family members will claim they're saying things because they're concerned. And they might be concerned. But here's the thing. If you express that the way they are showing concern is causing you distress, hurt, or any negative emotion of any kind, then it is up to them to change that dialogue. And if they're making verbally degrading remarks and claiming that's concern, that is not a reflection of concern. That is a reflection of unnecessary judgment. And there is absolutely no freaking reason why this judgment should be happening. If they want to choose to be toxic, then there is no reason that you should feel guilty for choosing not to be around them. All what you're doing is choosing to love yourself enough to take care of your mental health. And your mental health is damn important. Now, the reason why I think it's important to say, let me know when you want to respect my mental health enough not to put me down, you're giving them the opportunity to still be a part of your life. You are helping take some of the power away from someone who uses guilt as a way to manipulate to get what they want. For example, the all-time line that so many have used of reminding you that it's the holiday season and they don't have that many holidays left because they're getting old. And if they try to use that line on you, that's when the next thing you can say is, well, all the more reason for you to decide to treat me with more respect. I would love to spend the holidays with you so long as my boundaries are respected. But unfortunately, you just let me know that you would much rather not respect my boundaries than choose to be around me. But if you change your mind and you decide that you do want to work on that, then let me know, because I really want to see you this year. By doing this, you are disarming the manipulator. You are letting them know that you are not seeing them, not because you don't want to see them, but because of their choice to treat you the way that they've been treating you, and your decision that you're no longer tolerating that. Now, what the heck do you do if your family member agrees to being nice and trying their best to be nice, but then turns around and as soon as you show up, starts saying asshole remarks? If this were to happen, you give them the opportunity to improve by reminding them that you're not going to be tolerating this kind of behavior. You can say in a really nice tone, hey, we talked about this. Remember, those comments just are really not healthy for me to be around. Please don't talk to me like that. Now, if they respond with an apology and then do make it a point to try to cut back on that, amazing. Yes, you guys are moving forward. Nobody is perfect. They might have a few slip-ups, but a couple gentle reminders will help them go down the path of improving the relationship with you. But if they say some toxic ass remark and try to twist it, put the blame on you, gaslight, whatever, then this is what I want you to say. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, but I gave you the chance to redeem this by gently reminding you that this is what hurts me, and you're still continuing to do this. Because of that, I'm gonna have to go. Then get your keys, go home, get your wine on, maybe get some takeout if you haven't had dinner yet, and have yourself a drama-free Netflix night. Sometimes you need to take a temporary break from people for the sake of your happiness, for the sake of your well-being. That doesn't take away from how much you love them. That doesn't take away from how much you care about them, but you need to be good to yourself. I know that setting boundaries can be a really freaking difficult thing to do. And a lot of times when we set boundaries, we feel like an asshole, or people cause us to feel like an asshole. But the reality is that setting down boundaries isn't being a douche. All what boundaries are barriers letting people know what is and is not healthy for you. And those who disrespect that, those who cross those boundaries and treat your boundaries like a suggestion, they are the ones that are being shitty, not you. What you are doing is you're taking care of yourself and loving yourself enough to walk away from a situation that's not good for you. And like I said, you're not necessarily permanently walking away from them. You're just taking a step back. You're just giving yourself a little bit of healthy space to be able to breathe and heal. Remember that your mental health matters. It freaking matters. Your happiness depends on it. And loving yourself sometimes means making choices that are not comfortable. But in the end, we need to make the choices that are the best for our long-term emotional health. I know you don't want to hurt the ones you love, but they are making choices that are causing you to need to set down these boundaries. Sometimes when you first set down boundaries, you feel a lot more distant from your family. But in the end, oftentimes it ends up resolving. And then they learn what your boundaries are, and they learn that they can't cross that if they want to be in your life. And because of that, the relationship grows. Thank you so much for taking the time and watching my video. If you're not already subscribed, please just take a moment and hit the subscribe button. I regularly post self-help videos that help you in your day-to-day life. I hope you have a beautiful day.